Hello and welcome to the very first session of our Artist Talks. I'm very happy that you're here. I have an amazing guest today. I can't wait to talk to you. But let me introduce you to him. His name is Ali Hasan, and Ali is a musician with an old and deep relationship to the darbuka drum. Originally from Syria, Ali has a long history of building upon his music knowledge and practices before arriving in Berlin in 2015. He's collaborated with a range of international renowned artists and attained much support from Berlin cultural institutions. He's also a composer, curator, a music consultant, and a physical therapist, and a really cool dude. I talked to him just like a minute ago. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ali.
Thank you so much, Esra.
How
It's
are you
really
today?
a pleasure. Yeah, it's very fine. It's a nice weather today. We're having the sun and being here together. It's really cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think in the media, oftentimes, a lot of light is shed on your work and your collaborations and your achievements. But to me personally, what I would like to know is, what is something that you are very proud of that you accomplished and achieved outside of your work?
That I'm surviving till today. Maybe this is like one of the main things that today I'm really thankful that we are now reaching 2021, still alive after everything. Especially the pandemic now, the COVID-19 thing that we all faced together and we are still facing. What maybe I'm proud of that I'm still have this little child inside me that is still feel joyful and like fun every time I play my music or meet my friends. So, yeah.
I think sometimes what I wonder, especially in these times, and I think we can agree that in Germany or in Berlin, it is, we are in a position of privilege, and I'm sure that it does. I mean, there's a spectrum of privilege for sure, but sometimes still it gets kind of hard, even for me. I'm like, I want this to be over, COVID go away. But you mentioned this kind of child that you have, this playful and naive. How much do you think is it important to kind of cultivate that kind of child inside of you, especially in times of like a pandemic, for example?
Yeah, of course. Like without this child, I would say that, or without keeping like motivating myself, like to stay hang out with the life itself. You know, that 2020 was like really dark from different sides, but we together we could like survive. And I feel like so far, like in 2021, that now we are standing in a position that allows us to stand all together more and to get like more into each other, that we can survive and we can keep on with our life. We know that we are not anymore like alone. We are all one.
But who's we?
We, that everyone who's like on the same frequency of consciousness, maybe. We are the people who's like meeting each other from different backgrounds, from different worlds, and we gather together into one specific point, or like one specific city, which is Berlin. Berlin gave us a lot, and we feel very much like maybe loved in this city.
So you mentioned a frequency, and I to some extent, I agree with you, and I think there is a certain kind of connection that that transcends social structures. But at the same time, I mean, at the end of the day, there is still a power structure. At the end of the day, I have more privilege than you. Let's be honest. That's what it is. So I guess what I'm wondering is how. I mean, you already mentioned that you're happy and proud that you are surviving, and I honor that. Thank you for surviving. Mm-hmm. How is it if you had to pinpoint a very certain practice where you're like, okay, this is how I survive, or this is what I do on a daily basis in order to get to that frequency? What would it be?
I listen to myself. I hold on. First of things that maybe when we were like meeting like a little bit in the sun, like a few minutes ago, I was telling you that we are now together under the sun, hearing each other. Our souls is hearing each other's. I always try to trust the timing with everything. And this is like, has been a method I have been following maybe since a while now. And it didn't come like just like by one night and other. Every time like there's a little step to see, to feel, to understand, to get in touch with myself, to stay in my mind, to clear my mind, to clear my inner soul. Maybe there's like one Arabic word actually we used to say it, that the one who has a clear soul can sleep alone in the forest. And this is actually like one of the things that maybe has been like always like influenced me, or like was an inspiration for me, that we keep on listening to ourselves, to our little child inside, hear very well, and being a little bit relaxed and cool and calm. This will keep us like going inside our life slowly, gently, peacefully, and in a harmony with everything we are doing.
And what role does your artistic expression, especially like making music, play in that whole process?
It's a healing process. Music has been always like this. The main reason for me that I could stay till now, feeling the happiness, feeling the existence, forgetting about the dark nights I have been in, or like all the struggles I passed through, like in the last 25 years, I would say that I lived in Syria, moving out and everything. So music, I took it for my side, as a healing thing, as I don't want to listen anymore to noises from outside. I wanted to listen to myself. I want to play my own music. I want to discover myself more deeper. I didn't get the chance before. Music gave me this chance. And to be honest with you, it wasn't like a decision that I want to become a musician. It just happened by itself. When I left my country, I was just like going to the unknown, you know? But I had a drum with me. And this drum made me play in the streets of Istanbul. And from playing in the streets and meeting and knowing that, or feeling, actually not knowing, that I don't speak the Turkish language, but I could communicate with a lot of people. Nice, good, and calm, and peaceful. Then playing together and finding myself in these little groups of international musicians or human beings. Then the journey over here, then coming here and meeting all of the artist friends I met here. It has been always this language for me. Not the English language, not the German language, not the Arabic language. It was the music, was my language. To continue communicating and expressing myself.
Would you say that someone could be healing with you together who doesn't know how to be musical, or like who doesn't know how to play darbuka, for example?
I didn't get it very well.
Let's say there's a situation,
Yeah.
and you're playing, you're drumming,
Yeah.
and you, on a personal level, you're like, I'm in a moment of healing, and this feels good to me. And then there's people surrounding, and they're dancing with you, but they're not playing. They're not playing an instrument. Would you say that they're part of the healing process?
Of course, definitely.
How?
Because we are all like a common mind in a certain place. We are together now. It's not anymore that it's me and you. It's we. And when I play music, you dance. We are interacting. It's like I'm speaking to you, I'm telling you hello, and you are telling me hi, hello back, you know? Or you are like smiling, or you are tearing, or you are whatever, like expressing your inner emotional thing. Then it's not anymore about me. And it has never been like about me. It has been always about us.
Now, you being a musician in this country, you already mentioned that this on a personal level is very much a process of healing. But did you ever get to a point where you were like, I feel like from the outside, when you're performing or when you're like giving interviews, that maybe sometimes also because you are someone who left your country because of war, that you're put in a position where you're confronted with traumas, so that maybe music is the way why people find you and they want to talk to you, right? Let's say journalists want to talk to you, be like, oh, tell us more about how it is being a musician in exile. But then can music be healing but also be confronting you or re-traumatizing you?
Re-traumatizing me?
Or reminding you of the traumas?
Not really, I would say, because the music, like when, I will tell you like a little memory. I was like very little. I remember that I was really like 3 years or like 2-3 years. I had a darbuka in the house. My father like brought it to me. It was like made out of ceramic and like skin, a beautiful one. And I was like just drumming as a little kid, like 3 years old, doesn't really know what is he doing. We lived in a city, in the capital, in Damascus, but the family is coming from a different city, like in the mountains. So it was for me like traveling to the mountains, it's like a journey, you know? So I remember I was like 10 years old or something, or even less than 10 years old. We went to the mountains and all the family was gathered under the trees, summer night. One uncle is playing darbuka and another uncle is playing the oud. And it was for me like a full emotional, spiritual feelings that, wow, you know, I want to stay here all of my life. That was an inspiration moment for me, that saying that, okay, this is music. So every time, like almost when I play, I bring back these memories. Like the memories I bring, or like the existence I bring, is the memories that has been light in my childhood. So that can reflect always inside my fingers, then inside my energy, and it flows in the universe, or like it flow in the empty space around us. So music has been so much connected with the good memories, you know?
I understand.
So it's an existential moment. Yeah.
Have you ever been surprised about the impact that you make with the music, with your expression?
Many times.
Tell me about the last time, or maybe tell me about the moment where you were like, whoa, I am surprised, but I'm happy that I'm having this impact.
Yeah, this is like mostly it comes like in the house, or like in privately when I practice. Especially that like lately I have been like practicing on new things and like trying to bring a new sound. So I'm involved inside the experimental music now lately, since 1 year now, more than just like playing inside a genre like Oriental or like rap or like hip hop or whatever. So I was like trying more into the experimental things and more like into discovering the def and the darbuka in a different way. So many times when I try to get a new technique and try to practice and like to involve inside myself, and somehow there's a little point, you go out from your mind, but you stay inside. So it's a very tiny line between like knowing and not knowing, understanding and not understanding. And as deep as I go inside these moments, it's always like take me out to a parallel frequency, or like a parallel place. Coming back here always is doing like a shock. So it's like, you know, where I have been. But this is like, maybe I would say that like how ein it's the German now, how like the guy who swim inside the ocean, and you go inside, and without any oxygen, you know, then you have nothing to think about except your existence. So it felt for me like I'm really like diving inside myself, then coming up to the surface.
What do you need in order to be able to dive?
In the sea or with my music?
I think I'm curious for all our viewers who are watching from the outside. If someone maybe wants to dive now, what can you tell them?
Listen to yourself. Listen exactly to yourself. Connect with yourself. Feel your breath. Breath in a way that with appreciating every one single moment of our life passing is holy. Every single person we are meeting is holy. Appreciate this and breathe slowly and go inside you. Like, don't try to make any other people satisfied, really, because this is very hard, but make yourself satisfied. Be humble and relax. Then all of this diving and all of these meditative things will come by itself. It's a practicing, and it's not one night, one day. It's a long practice.
what this reminds me of is I had a talk the other day with a friend of mine, and we're talking about how we are working so much, and we were, always trying to like deliver and be better and, grow. And we were talking about how we were exhausted.
Yeah.
And my friend, she was like, but you need to rest, because you need to rest in order to, grow. It's part of the process. And after a long time, I realized that it's really hard for me, and I think that's a truth for a lot of people, especially also who live in the diaspora. There's a sense of guilt. It's like my parents didn't have time to relax. My parents didn't have time to breathe. That wasn't possible. It wasn't the realm of possibility. And now my generation, or the people that are around me, we do have the possibility, but we feel guilt. So if, let's say, someone was watching right now, was like, yeah, great, yeah, I want to dive and I want to breathe, I want to like chill and just like appreciate everything, but I don't have no time. I got to do stuff. What would you tell that person?
Make your time. It's every one of us is the one who's creating his own reality. Clear your mind and clear your inner thing from inside and make the time. Organize yourself very well. Wake up. Don't be lazy. Wake up early morning. Catch the sun. And
But listen, you like don't be lazy, but to me that's being lazy. Like if I like go home today,
yeah.
and I go onto my couch and I do nothing, I'll be like, I'm being lazy. I cannot do this. But in fact, I mean, it's a matter of like perception, right? Because you could be telling me, oh, you're having a moment for yourself. You're rejuvenating right now. But for me, it's being lazy. So how do I know whether I'm being lazy or whether I'm rejuvenating?
No one can tell you. It's you will tell yourself. It's really it's you. It has been always like this is one main thing that we have been so much learned, to hear others, to tell us what to do. And that's like one of the things that I think is a little bit like questionable, I'm not going to say that it's wrong, but it's questionable. But we never tried like maybe from really like to know from inside that what we really want, what kind of work I want to work. We are now in a place where we are like full of options and full of like supporting places. Whatever any person here now in the city I know, that whatever you want to do, you will find some place or somewhere or some organization will help you to go inside the way, And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This has been like always. That's the thing. But the student should be ready.
You're dropping a lot of wisdom right now. I could just like do a mic drop right now. Was there a moment in the past where you were exactly the opposite, or what moments made you understand that you had to learn exactly that? Do you remember a moment in the past?
Every year since I am 12, I'm learning something new. But I have been always like, maybe because I worked like this. So 12 years old, I was like in the summer working in a place that not really working, but working in a way, So yeah, but like it's I stayed in the summer in like my hometown to stay working in a place where there was like internet and like there was like internet cafe. So every summer I was doing like a different thing. So like from this internet cafe to a different to the bazaar, to another from the bazaar, then to the Syrian Red Crescent, then go to the university. But it was almost like every year there was a different thing, and I was gaining a new knowledge or like a new things, like from a very like different sides of the world. That made me in a flow that every year I have to renovate myself from inside and meet and like discover a new field. And that's now something that I would say that this is a way to create a time, to create a frame time, to organize myself. And like I say, like, okay, in 2020, like last year, I wanted to do like this project, and this is like what's happening, and that has been happening, and I made it. And now 2021, there's a new goals and there's a new wave. We have to be like flexible a little bit, especially like now in a days of not so many options. If we keep stuck, we fall. If we keep flexible, we can go with the flow and we can fly. We can. Only like it's only now 1 year, 2 years, and like hopefully this pandemic will go. There's a very like potential now speak about like the vaccine is exist and like we are like now coming back a little bit like to a healthy life. And so let's prepare ourselves like for the next year and the year after.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard of a theory that even says that when you have less possibilities, when you have less opportunity, you get even more creative. So could we understand this situation, this whole pandemic, maybe as a moment of more or heightened creativity?
It is. It is, but I think that now at the moment we are frozen. So it's not that we don't have options. I see it from my perspective. I don't see that there's no so many options, but we are stuck because of the whole thing is stuck. How I feel from my perspective about like this year, that to use it to our health and to strengthen our immune system and to practice new things from like health issues, because now we saw like what Corona made, you know, practicing sport, breathing very well, holding on a little bit, organizing ourselves a little bit more. This could be like a thing that can support us inside this tight time, you know. Yeah, and it's all a matter of time. It's all a matter of time. Little bit patient. Just have to be patient. Things will be all right.
I feel very, very good right now. Thank you so much for saying this. So you already mentioned that, you know, let's have hope. You said, let's be patient, and, you know, the vaccine is coming. Everything's going to be fine. So when you look at your own paths, or like when you look at your own music and your expressions, your artistic expressions, what do you envision for yourself for the future?
Definitely, I would love to pass this experience, the knowledge I gained here, to different communities. I always like felt it, or like I feel it like this, that for me, like now maybe before Corona really hit us very well, I was so interested about Moria, about Lesbos and what's happening there. And you know, like our Dabke community dancing thing, it was like really a perfect match to go there and like to do like maybe a festival or like to do whatever.
Please
thing.
explain to our viewers outside what that Dabke community is.
Dabke community, it's a beautiful project. We started with together, me, my mate Midhat Al-Dabal, together with the company of Sasha Valls and Guest. It was in 2017. So what should I say? In 2016, we met the company of Sasha Valls and Guest. They supported us amazingly to create our first performance, Amal, which means hope. And that was like telling a story about like the dancers and the musicians here in the city and arriving to the city. We did it in radial system. In 2017, we started the first Dabke community dancing for real. And it's a traditional dance from the Middle East. Basically, Midhat is from Syria. I'm from Syria also. He's from the south. I'm from a little bit like from the north. Together, we grew up in the same street in Damascus, but we never met in Damascus. We met here. So we have a lot of mutual like memories together, but we don't know each other in person. So that created like this flow between us as like, yeah, let's do something we really love. So we did like the Dabke. And Dabke, it's mainly like a circle where people hold hands together. I was playing the darbuka or the percussion. Midhat was like leading the dance. And we grew up until we reached 200 participants in one circle. Yeah.
With this project, you were implementing this project in Moria.
That is so like the idea that, okay, we go, both of us, and like maybe with a few artists, and like it was in my mind, like few artists from the city also is like interested in this thing. And we go there, we do something good, we calm down the heat, you know, that, okay, that the city itself, like it's now like facing all of this struggling, the people who's like in the camp in a very hard situation. So it was like all like dealing and talking between each others. And I tried like to find the different places where we can like maybe do these things, but then Corona came out. So what from my vision, like from my perspective, if we go there and like we make people a little bit like, if we give the kids a little bit laugh, you know? If we made these like little kids who's there, these poor kids who's like really in a bad situation, if we make them alive and if we make them a little bit feel that we are there, we are here with you, we are giving everything we can do, we can reach something. We can maybe affect something, even like a little positive things, you know? Everything is like little by little we can make stuff. So that was the idea, but then the corona came, and it's, you know, it's really like now kind of forbidden to move and like to do anything. So that was like the idea about Moria and about Lesbos.
It's, I mean, as much as it hurts me saying this, but I'm pretty sure once Corona's over, the situations in Lesbos and Moria is not going to be any different. So maybe is that something that you will pick up once we feel like the Corona pandemic is kind of maybe, at least in Germany, feels like more it's under control?
I'm here. Yeah, definitely. It's in my mind totally. You know, it's in my mind. It's needed. You know, we are talking about Moria. We are talking about Greece. We are talking about like here, Europe. It's there. You know, so we are not talking about like a different planet. And this is, I think, the less I can do from my side. I don't have so much to do, but I can do this and I can offer it. You know. And we really like try to do something for the kids. It's really the kids. Every time when you see photos, when you see videos, it's hilarious, you know. Yeah.
Hopefully, inshallah. I hope
inshallah.
that you will be able to do that project. And if you do the Debke community in Berlin, I'll be here. I'll be joining.
Amazing.
Next time we have this festival.
Herzlich willkommen.
Dankeschön, Dankeschön. Next time we're going to have the festival, we're going to have a Debke right here, a performance, okay? And as we're doing Debke, we're going to be having our own talk, okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
This was already it, but you will
Thank
be
you,
able
Esra.
to see Ali later on. And if you want to find more, want to have more information about your work and his work, go to alihasan.berlin, if I'm correct. And it's Hasan with one S. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.